Have you seen these awesome glasses TJ's daughter Lainey found? They're called Aquila, and they're 10% off when you use code TJ at checkout at aquila.la and the deals page at tjritchie.com.
Hey, welcome to the TJ Ritchie Show soft opening. Everybody's been asking what my opinion of the situation with Kilmar Abrego Garcia is, you know, the one the media describes as a father from Maryland, a Maryland father who was wrongfully deported to El Salvador prison. What my opinion of that is? Okay, well, I've got one, as you can imagine, and it is actually going to be the best take on all of it that you've ever heard, and we'll get to that next.
Have you seen these awesome glasses TJ's daughter Lainey found? They're called Aquila, and they're 10% off when you use code TJ at checkout at aquila.la and the deals page at tjritchie.com.
Hear the TJ Ritchie Show every weeknight at 7 Eastern. Stream it live at tjritchie.com or listen later as a podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or My Media Center at tjritchie.com. You'll be so glad you did, hopefully. That's tjritchie.com. All right, welcome back. I've waited long enough to weigh in on this. I was giving everybody else a chance, all of the other commentators in the political world. I was giving them a chance to catch up with me and where I might be going with this. But it looks like nobody is going to have this take, really, that I've heard. So I gave them the opportunity. They didn't seize upon it. So here we go. Here's the deal. Quick reset. Man named Kilmar Abrego Garcia. I always mess up that second. Abrego Garcia was detained and he was deported. A suspected member of MS-13, which President Trump has declared a terrorist group, and he was shipped to El Salvador with all of the other thousands of illegal aliens, and that's the word, illegal aliens. Remember, the commucrats and modern Marxists always want to change the language. It's not an illegal immigrant. It's not an illegal migrant. It's not a migrant. It's not an undocumented person or an undocumented worker. It is, in our constitutional government, it is an illegal alien. That's how it is in the Constitution. They're illegal aliens. Okay. Some of them very nice. Not all of them MS-13 gang members, but it is what it is. So, illegal alien supposedly had the papers to where he was okay being in U.S. America, but then the Trump administration got a hold of the records and all that. Two separate judges had said that there was sufficient evidence for them to believe that he was a member of MS-13. He's also got a criminal record, crimes that he has committed while in U.S. America. Okay. But what the Democrats always want to do, and the liberals in the media, is confuse everything, right? They don't just try to deny things and lie about things, because they do. But what they want to do is, when they know that something is amiss, they want to throw all of these confusing topics along with it, so people get distracted and sorry, my phone was ringing, and go off in different directions, getting them off of the main topic. Now, the main topic is what we should be focused on, okay? And we call that technique that the Democrats do in radio, we call it chasing rabbits, okay? Because you're focused, you're like a hunting dog, a beagle, and you're chasing after this rabbit, and it's going, and you're focused, and you're getting on it, and then all of a sudden somebody lets another rabbit go. All right, so then you got to go round that one up, and then somebody lets another one go, and you round that one up, and then the next thing you know, you've lost the one that you were initially chasing. So, here's what they're doing. They're focusing on all of these other aspects, the Republicans, the conservatives, the people on our side who are in the media get caught up in trying to prove to these commucrats how trying to prove that he was rightly deported and he shouldn't be here by talking about him with his crimes that he's committed. The judges, like I said a minute ago, saying that they believed he was in MS-13. The other things on his record that would show that he's not a good person, and all of this kind of stuff. So here's the thing. I'm just knocking things over all over the place. If you are in this country as a guest, that means that you're here and you're legally here. You're not a citizen, but you're legally visiting our country. You commit a crime, you should be gone. And most American citizens agree with that. If you commit a crime and you're a guest, you should be gone. You should be, boom. All right, you committed this crime, guilty, now you're deported. Go. There's no excuse for anybody from any other country to be in the United States of America committing crimes over and over and over. One crime, gone. Now, that's just for the people who came legally and are in the country legally. If you came to the country illegally, then you should be deported as soon as they catch up with you. I know. That's harsh to say. But how do we have a country where anybody can come in and get tied up in the court systems? And that's what these Democrats, when they say due process. Well, that's what the Biden administration did, the Obama administration. They want all of these people coming in here. They fly them in. You remember that? Biden flying people from other countries in and dropping them off, and because they go into the system and they're here until they get their due process. Well, how long does due process take? Forever. So in the meantime, that while they're waiting on their due process, if they even show up to court at all, they're having babies who become U.S. citizens automatically, which is a conversation for another day. That shouldn't be happening. And they become U.S. citizens, then they're here longer because they can't leave their babies, and they don't want to send the baby off to the home country because it's not the baby's home country. This is, and all of that stuff. And that's what the evil Democrats count on, is that all of these people are going to be released into the country, and while they're waiting their due process, then it's going to be harder and harder for people who actually love the United States of America and want to abide by its rules before they can deport the people, and then they'll be here and be voters for Democrats. That's what the goal is. And it all comes down to the fact that Democrats do this, the elected Democrats do it because they're rotten to the core. They're absolutely rotten people. They're narcissists. All they care about is themselves and their power, and they do things and blame other people for doing it. They're just rotten villains. Professional Democrats are. Absolutely. So, here's what's going on. You got this guy. He's in the El Salvadorian prison. El Salvador. He is in El Salvador. Okay? Part of the reason he was allowed to stay in U.S. America is because he said he was afraid that a rival gang was going to kill him. He was afraid for his safety if he went back to El Salvador. Okay, well, how can somebody who's not in a gang have a rival gang? How does that work? And he was scared MS-13 was going to kill him, maybe. So there's no MS-13 anymore. The president of El Salvador has done away with MS-13. They don't exist in El Salvador. Cleaned it up. So you got that. So these rotten to the core elected Democrats to Congress, starting with a man named Chris Van Hollen. Chris Van Hollen goes and makes a special visit on taxpayer money, flies to El Salvador, sits down with this guy who's in the prison, has margaritas with him. The guy comes out, this gang member, wife beater, all of this other stuff. They've got him in some plaid shirt with a baseball hat on. I think it says Chicago Bulls on it or something. I don't know, but it's he's trying to make him look like he's just your average suburban dad from Maryland. He's not a ruthless criminal. No, none of that stuff. And so they sit down and this guy starts pandering to him because that's what Democrats do. Now, remember, this guy is only pandering to this guy from El Salvador because he wants to make Trump look bad. Okay? So there's something in it for him. He doesn't care really about the well-being of this guy. Not at all. So he goes down there, visits with him, and one of those CNN hags, I think it was Dana Bash, maybe, interviews him and asks, well, did you ask Mr. Garcia if he is indeed a member of MS-13, if he was a gang member? And the Honorable Chris Van Hollen said, see, that's the Trump administration just trying to cloud the conversation. They're just trying to divert and confuse people, and they're not dealing with the issue at hand, which is due process and, so forth and so on. She says, so that's what everybody's talking about, though, is whether or not he's a member of MS-13. Did you spend that time with him hanging out and you didn't even ask him? No, because I didn't have to. I know his answer to that. And blah, 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 blah. So why are you looking behind the curtain? You're not supposed to look behind the curtain. So what? You see that I'm a fake and I'm working all of the wizard's mouth and head with these controls back here. That's your fault for looking behind the curtain. How offensive, Dana. Don't you dare look behind this curtain. So now a gaggle of other elected Democrats have gone to El Salvador to do the same thing. And American people, voters, are not rooting for this guy. They're not. But these Democrats don't care. This is my point. These Democrats are not interested in the well-being of anybody but themselves. We talked about that yesterday when I was talking about how these white liberal Democrats and then the black Democrats, elected Democrats, manipulate black people so much and make them think that they're on their side, and all they're doing is just trying to manipulate them so that they can maintain power over them. They do that to everybody. It's not just black people. So if you're black and you've fallen for that your whole life, don't feel bad, because they do that with everybody. They don't care about anybody. And they damn sure don't care about this country. They don't care about the well-being of this country. They go down there and kiss the ring of this criminal gangbanger who should have been out of the country a long time ago. If things were done properly, we wouldn't even be having this discussion. They're down there championing him, and they're his saviors because he's been done so wrong by the evil Donald Trump and the Republicans. All they want is for America to be broken down. And if that means criminals stay here, and criminals commit crimes and murders against your family, your innocent family members who are just going about their day until some illegal alien criminal murders them, so be it. Do you think that any of these people, any of these elected commucrats that are down there posing for the cameras right now, thinking that they're looking like heroes in El Salvador, do you think even a single one of them tried to comfort a family whose son or daughter was killed by illegal aliens, murdered? They're called angel families. You think that any of them showed up to help them, comfort them when their family member was murdered by an illegal alien? No, that doesn't benefit them. They root for that. They root for it. Why? Because it disrupts the American system. And that's what Democrats are about. Professional Democrats. The office holders, the politicians, the ones who work for them on their staffs, they're all just rotten. And the more we can get that message out and get people to understand that and point to what they do and not let them distract us from the actual point, the only points that need to be made, like this. The guy has committed crimes in U.S. America. He's not a legal resident of this country. He's not a citizen. He's got to go. He got to go. See ya. Sorry. And all you Democrats can fake cry all you want to, but those big fake tears are just going to fall on nothing but disdain and sarcasm, because that's what we need to do. And I always say that about liberalism, modern Marxism, socialism, leftism, all of it. If that's going on with our elected officials and all in America, we point and mock to the point where they don't want to even tell people that they're a Democrat, an American Democrat holding office. Point and laugh because they're ridiculous. They're clowns. And they deserve no respect if they're trying to tear apart our country. They deserve no respect. You know, they can jump up and say, get in people's, Maxine Waters, get in people's faces. And you see a Republican or a Democrat in public, you get in their face. You know, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, don't take them seriously. Mock them. Don't respect what they say, because what they say is against what is best for us as a country. I'm not saying get up in their faces in public. We don't do that. We're not Democrats. We don't lash out in that way, but just pass the word along of how ridiculous they are. You see them standing outside this prison doing a press conference in El Salvador because they're trying to play favor to this illegal alien gangbanger. Laugh at them. You look ridiculous. You look ridiculous. And on another note, quickly, I feel like I must say this, being the country's leading expert on race relations. If you are one of the black voters who has been a Democrat your whole life and you've let them manipulate you into thinking that Republicans are out to get you, and white people are inherently racist and bigoted, and white people who even think that they're being nice don't realize subconsciously that they're exerting white supremacy all the time and all of that stuff. You know, the Democrats are supposed to, black and white, Democrats are supposed to be helping black people all the time. Everywhere you turn, they're supposed to be lifting up black people. How quickly did black people get dropped by the Democrat Party for illegal aliens? Think about it. Look at those people in Chicago, the black people of Chicago, going to these city council meetings and stuff and speaking out. They realized it. They realized that they're American citizens. The Democrats have been promising them help and getting them, out of the situations that they're in, and that the Republicans are the ones keeping them in that situation and all that. Democrats are full of promises. We're going to help you. We're going to help you. You got to elect us, or you're going to lose everything you do have. And then all of a sudden they see an opportunity to get more, what they think is going to be more political power out of illegal aliens. What black people? Where are they? Just a little lesson for you to work on until we speak the next time. A little homework. Look around, see how that happened. All right. Thank you very much. That's it for today. Remember, God loves you, and there ain't nothing you can do about it. Hear the TJ Ritchie Show every weeknight at 7 Eastern. Stream it live at tjritchie.com or listen later as a podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or My Media Center at tjritchie.com. You'll be so glad you did, hopefully. That's tjritchie.com.
Pet hair can cause havoc on your washer and your dryer. You've done a load of laundry, you've washed it, you take it out of the dryer, and then you realize it's still covered in hair. That's because pet hair can get clogged up in your washing machine. Luckily, there is an awesome product called the Pet Hair Dissolver. It's an enzymatic formula that you just dump in your washing machine, and it actually eliminates the pet hair, resulting in cleaner, fresher clothes. Here's how to get it. Go to tjritchie.com/deals. That's where you'll find the Pet Hair Dissolver. Again, it's tjritchie.com/deals. It's the best price you'll find on it anywhere.